Boy, it's a cold one out there today. All right. Shut that door. Take that hat off and put it down. Unzip this. Cold day today. Lots of snow. Glad you guys can make it to class. Yeah, school bus all heated up. Put my jacket up here, right there. All right. Let's go ahead and sit here by a cozy fire. How's that sound? Get my favorite chair. Oh yeah, that feels better already. Oh, look what I have here. Oh, stay a little warmer here. Got our little sweater for staying warm. That looks pretty good. Yeah, button that up, couple of buttons. There we go. Yeah, just got to get all ready. Caught me off guard coming in like that. There. Get all comfy. Let me put on my slippers here with my nice little socks. Keep my feet warm. Everybody needs to stay warm. Yeah. Since it is a season, got a little surprise for you. Let's try this on, see how it fits there. There we go. How's that? A little present of education. Get all comfy. All right. There we go. Everybody comfortable. I'll scoot you up a little bit closer here. There we go. All right. What do we have here today? Oh, got a little picture there of a little bag. Little picture. Put our glasses on. We need our glasses today. Important to have glasses. And we got our drink today. Just iced tea. Let's see. What do we have in here? What do we have? All kinds of neat stuff. Alright. Print some things off. Alright, I'm going to take a break and I'll see you back here in just a second. Okay, alright. We'll go ahead and start this off. This is chapter 9. It's just a review here, a preview of what's going to happen. This is the era of Thomas Jefferson. I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. Era of Thomas Jefferson. This is a review. One real quick thing on that. He's the only individual to actually have an era named after him. And then there's going to be obviously an election. Through this election, Thomas Jefferson is going to take office. Republicans take charge. And 70 basically, Jefferson defeats Adams pretty easy. Adams doesn't get very many votes. As a matter of fact, I have a little slide on that if you want to see that. This right here, okay. It does show you all three individuals there. Okay, so this is going to be Thomas Jefferson here. This is a guy named Burr. Okay, Burr, and he's holding a pistol because he's known for a famous duel. And that duel is going to be between Burr and Alexander Hamilton. And this guy, we already know that. All right, that's John Adams. So if you notice these numbers right here, it's a tie. So you really can't have, let's slide that over, you can't have a tie really for President of the United States. So I'm going to 73 votes from Congress there on each Burr and Thomas Jefferson, and then 65 for John Adams. So how do they do this? It's kind of interesting. They go ahead and first of all, it's a bitter campaign because of Thomas Jefferson and Adams going at it. So you have Aaron Burr, who becomes vice president because there is a separation of votes now. They're not going to have the president being voted and then the other person coming in second to be vice president. So they're going to split it. They're going to make it to where one is going to be voting for the president, and then they're going to have another election going to be voting for the vice president, because they don't want to get down to what they did during this, obviously, because they had to have 36 votes. That's right, 36 times to vote. Okay, they voted 36 times to break this tie from Burr and Jefferson. That's how long and tight that this thing was. So we don't want to go with that at all. So Jefferson kind of changes a couple of things up. Before they had people bowing to the President of the United States. Jefferson doesn't do that. He stops the bowing, and he just like, okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to shake hands. Okay, so it's very common because he's for the people. He's a common man. No more bowing. Also, hey, check this out. He walks through the inauguration to the White House, not in a fancy carriage like the people before him, Washington and John Adams. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to be the common people. He wants to have that tightness there. So handshake, and that actually has gone throughout the time with that. So no marathon voting. We got that over with. They're going to vote separately, president, vice president. Now let's check out what he does first when he takes into office, president of the United States. Bam! Comes out with a limit. He doesn't like big government. Okay, no big government. So he takes this big government down to small government. He wants to shrink that size, okay? So first thing he does is he really does this. He just hacks and he just chops jobs. First of all, your tax collectors are gone. They're out. He fires them all. They're gone. Doesn't like them. And then he's got this laissez-faire kind of thing going on that he's popular for. And let's pull up a couple other things. I think these are kind of cool about Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson today, what would he do? And this is going over basically in the course of human events. So you already know what this is. This is going to be a preamble. So check that out. A little cartoon over Thomas Jefferson if you want to look at that and enjoy that today. If I got all that in there, I hope it did. Okay, a little texting action. Kind of interesting. Remember how he's about big government against it? So here's another one. This is a quote by TJ, Thomas Jefferson. All right. So government basically big, and it goes into that. All right. So he's about done with big government, right? Strong enough to have take effect on basically on everything you have, and he's right. He's dead right on that. He's dead set right on that. So he's going to have this laissez-faire going on, and that means the term laissez-faire means this: hands off. It's all about the government. It's laissez-faire means hands off. That's why they show a little hand there, hands off, laissez-faire. So he has a laissez-faire kind of interpretation about this this government. So he does that. There's no basically laissez-faire. The government should not interfere with the economy whatsoever. They should stay out of it. Remember, he was against the bank and not interfere with the economy. He fires them. He cuts the number of U.S. diplomats around the world. He cuts, here's a big one. He shouldn't have done this, and we'll find this out in 1812. he cuts the Army's budget and reduces the size. Not a good idea. Bad idea. Bad. Because we got a war coming up later on, which is he can't see the future. I mean, there's no crystal ball that this guy's got. But you always have to be ready. Okay, you have to be ready to go. So we had the Federalist policies remain. So that's kind of a cool thing about checking this guy out. Okay, this is a very good and very wise boss. Okay, they could keep their jobs. Federalists could, because remember he's an anti-Fed, right? Republican. If they did the following, first of all, you got to do your job well, okay, or else you're going to get fired, and you have to be loyal citizens. So he wants your loyalty, and he just wants you to do the job well. I mean, it's just like any other boss. Any other boss would want the same exact thing. So we got a little sneaky business going on here with John Adams before he goes out. Tries to slide in somebody for Supreme Court, and that doesn't go well. At the very last, let's see, yeah, it says Marbury versus Madison. Madison, basically, here it is, Marbury Supreme Court. Hours, just the last hours before Adams left office, he tries to slide him in. And Jefferson's going to say, no way. So there it is. This is going to be it. Okay? Madison versus Marbury right there. Okay? Marbury versus Madison. Okay, so first of all, I've got to figure out who these guys are. Who's Marbury? Obviously, he's a judge. He's the one that Adams is appointing to the Supreme Court. Who's Madison? Madison is the Secretary of State. So Jefferson says to Madison, hey, I want this guy off, stopped. Okay? Stop this proceeding. And so they take it to court. I mean, Marbury's going to sue Madison, and that's where we get the Supreme Court case. So Marbury was a Supreme Court justice. We talked about that last hours. So this is his basically one last punch. Madison was ordered by Jefferson to stop. We talked about that on the appointment to the Supreme Court. So Marbury sues. End of story. Let's go ahead and just go real fast. Judiciary Act of 1789 is going to come and play on this thing. So what does that mean? Might mean nothing to you, but this is what that act does. So Judiciary Act of 1789, so obviously it has something to do with some judges. Supreme Court has the power to review cases brought against the federal officials, so they can do that. It's a big one. John Marshall comes on there. All right, John Marshall is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Big, powerful guy. He's got a lot of power. So rules, basically this Judiciary Act of 1789 is unconstitutional. And that's a big wow. So the court's power comes from the Constitution, not basically from Congress. So let me read that again. The court's power comes from the Constitution, which is the laws, right? And it doesn't come, it doesn't come from Congress, right? Power. So that's a big old smack, daddy, smack. Oh, Marshall lays him down. Okay? So what's the outcome? Madison wins. The outcome, the court could not actually help Marbury. Marbury gained his commission to be in the Supreme Court. So, no judge for you. What's important about this? Judicial review. Okay? Judicial review. Remember that. Judicial review is the most powerful item that the Supreme Court has, the judiciary branch. And the judiciary branch is judicial review because they're there to review what? The law. Good job. So now that's going to lead us to another thing here. It's called the Louisiana Purchase. Ooh, this is kind of cool. This is on Section 2. Louisiana Purchase. All right, everybody go ahead and check that out. That's Thomas Jefferson right there. This is all the land right here for Louisiana Purchase. Okay. Who owns that land? Spanish or the French? Parlez-vous français? That's right, the French do. A guy comes along, his name's Napoleon Bonaparte. He's in a little war there dealing with the British again. So they're always, fighting each other. Oh, God, they can't get along. So Napoleon needs to sell all of his French lands in the United States of America. For what? Cha-ching, needs the money. Show me the G, baby. I want to see the Quan. He needs it to help support his campaigns over in Europe. So here's how this goes down. This is kind of cool. All right, so he gets this idea. Now, he just thinks, Thomas Jefferson is just thinking that he's just going to get New Orleans, right? And that's important because it kind of trades hands. It goes from the Spanish, control the Mississippi River, and the Spanish sell that river, the land, to the French. And it kind of freaks out TJ. So he's like, oh my God, why do the French want all this land? And they'll have control because we had a treaty with Spain, but we don't have a treaty with the French. So we could use that. So he's kind of freaking out. So he wants to figure out what's going on with this guy. So he sends over a couple of people. So he sends James Monroe to buy New Orleans from the French, also known as West Florida, because that's the very furthest west part of Florida. Surprise! Here it is. Check this out. France comes out, and Napoleon Bonaparte says, "Hey, you're not just gonna get one egg. If you want, you can have the whole coop of chickens." And so France offered to sell not only just New Orleans, but the entire Louisiana territory, double the size of the United States, big chunks. Monroe's jaw must have dropped. Drop jaw. Okay, that has got to happen because you're thinking you're going to pick up maybe it's like a kid. You go to the candy store and you have just enough money for maybe a pieces of candy, and then all of a sudden somebody offers you, hey, you know what? You can have like this entire aisle of candy. Oh my God. So you got to think about another plan to get that candy. So you want it bad. So who do you go to? You don't have the Quan. They didn't give you enough money. Your parents didn't. So you got to go back. And you got to ask them for money. That's what they did. Monroe went back and he asked TJ. He says, TJ, this is what we got going down. And 2 months to actually sail back to the United States and then 2 months back. That's 4 months. If it takes you, 4 months for you to ask your parents if you can have more candy, then you got some issues. Okay? So they're not going to let you have the whole entire aisle of candy anyhow. At least I wouldn't. But here he is. So we go back and TJ's like, yeah. Buy it. What's the problem? That is like what? A no-brainer. Like, see, I ice freeze on this. You suck down something that's really cold and, it's called brain freeze. Yeah, it's all locked up. So he says, could you imagine saying this to Napoleon Bonaparte? He's a dictator of France. He says, wait, you know what? Can you guys chill? Can you wait? I gotta go back. I can't make a call, and pick up my phone and go back. No, he's got to sail. So he's got to check with the boss, right? So via ship. That's a long time. So Monroe went ahead and got to basically buy the entire Louisiana Purchase. How much did it cost? How much Quan? $15 million dollar. Now, that's a double the size. That's not bad. You know why? Because I'll tell you in just a second. Alaska, right? 49th state of the United States of America. Check it out. We got Alaska from Russia with a whopping $72 million. Okay, now we got the Louisiana Purchase. Check it out, 4 cents per acre. 4 cents an acre. That is dirt cheap. Well, let's say Alaska comes around and we get this from Russia. They were, like I said, the 49th state. How much was that? 2 cents an acre. We got it for half price. Half price. That's called sale, baby. That's called sale. Now, if you want to read up on this, got a good book for you. Matter of fact, I should have just, instead of print this out, I should have showed you the cover of the book because actually I have this. It's called The Great Deal. Actually, sorry, Great Gamble. But it was a great deal. It's a good book. You ought to read it. Okay, it is a gamble. It's a huge gamble, but it is a gamble. It's a great book. Right? It's about Bonaparte, obviously, and Jefferson getting together about the Louisiana Purchase. Now, what does that bring about? There's a dilemma over this Louisiana Purchase. No. Yes, there is. The dilemma. Okay, you got to go ahead and buy it. Now, here's the problem. The Constitution of the United States of America. The law book. What does it say? So he's got to pull out the Constitution and figure this out because you don't have a what? You don't have a treaty with France. Oops. No treaty. No land. That's bad. Great deal. I mean, you're sitting there and it's like, oh, I'd like to have it. Oh, man, I could almost taste that land. So, he looks in the Constitution, but nowhere in the Constitution does it state that the president has the power to buy land from a foreign country. Oh, my God. So, the Senate gets a hold of this, and they see that it's a very, very important. So they approve a treaty, all right, with who? France. And Congress quickly voted to pay for the land. Can you say thank you? He should have. Now, what do we give all this land? We got to have somebody check it out. So he's going to go ahead and hire a guy named Meriwether Lewis, who's a captain in the Army at the time. And then Lewis is going to pick his good old buddy Clark here. All right, so we got the famous Lewis and Clark going out. So here they are, Lewis and Clark, and with their dog right there, who's actually going to go on the trip. And that's Meriwether Lewis's dog. Okay, so you can check that out. All right, so that's Mary Lewis right there and the dog. And it's going to be a big deal. Okay, this is like going to the moon. They give them all kinds of advanced things, weaponry. Matter of fact, I got a picture of one of these. It's like an air rifle on steroids. Okay, look at that bad boy. And this is the air chamber right here. You can pump that up. And you know what the cool thing about this weapon is it could shoot, it's like a 50 caliber, I believe, and it could shoot several rounds within a matter of minutes, so it's like a repeating rifle. So he gets these guys together with Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. So, and they're both captains in the Army. Meriwether is more of a scientist, and what else can I tell you about him? He's the one who bought the weapon. Actually, he bought that gun. It's an air rifle. They only had one, and everywhere they stopped, they would pull this weapon out and show the Native Americans that they had a lot of power. And plus, there's no smoke, right? And you can't even see the bullet. So it's kind of like, you shoot the dude and he's down. I mean, it's like a magic trick. So, and it's a show of power when they're going along, and there's all these Native Americans. They don't know if they're friendly or hostile, right? You got to take care of me, bro. Are you, a brother from another mother, or are you basically, Satan's brother, and we're going to come down, and bring some heat? And they do run into that individual tribe, and once, and then they almost run into him the second time. Thank God it didn't, or else that would have been it for them. So they would show the power, and then they would give them a medal with it goes around their neck and of Jefferson, of his face, and they would tell these Indian tribes with these chiefs, this is your new chief. Okay, so get used to it. There are more coming. Oh boy, let me take a drink here. Getting a little parched. Remember, iced tea is good. Ah, I love that one. All right, so they're on their way, and they're going to come into a town, a village here, and they're going to run into a girl like Sacagawea. Now, Sacagawea is basically, she's a teenager, all right, and she has what with her? A little baby, a little guy right there, Sacagawea. So she just had a child. Not who they want to take on this. Basically, it's called the Core of Discovery. They did not want this. They thought she'd be dead weight, but you know, because they had their eyes set on the prize, and that was her husband, who was not a Native American, and I'm not sure if he was French or not, but an interpreter, somebody who knew the land, but she is not of that tribe. So, you know, later on down the road, they're going to run into her brother, and he's going to be a chief. Okay? Is that a hand coming out over there? Oh, all right. So he's going to be a chief of one of the tribes, and they're going to need horses, so he hooks them up. So it's good to have, you know, friends all over, and even on the way on that. So, you know, they were given tasks to take care, to you know, write down journals, because Jefferson wanted to know all kinds of stuff. And you can look up a good clip, you know, I'll share it with you later on what Jefferson wanted to do on the Core of Discovery. Very, very fascinating. And, you know, that's a whole entire lesson on its own. So we'll have to get through that. So now, that's a real quick, down and dirty version of Lewis and Clark and the discovery there. It takes 3 years for the Core Discovery to reach the Pacific Ocean and then come back. So now we got a time of conflict, and that's going to be Section 3. And what kind of conflict again? All right, first of all, we're going to hit these guys, and they're called the Barbary Pirates. Arr! What's a pirate's favorite sock? Argyles. That's right. What's a pirate's favorite state? Arkansas. Now, there's all kinds of jokes I could throw everywhere for the R's. So, they run into the Barbary Pirates. So, let's go down with this. So, the pirates are attacking American ships. And this is pretty much in the Mediterranean Sea. We call it the Med. And the pirates are from the following places: Morocco. Okay. We also have Algiers. And then we have Tunisia. And here's the fourth and favorite one: Tripoli. And the four there. Do you get Tripoli there? From the halls of Montezuma to the hills of Tripoli, to the shores of Tripoli. Now that's the Marine Corps right there. I'm not a Marine, so but pay tribute is what they wanted. You heard that word before, tribute, from the French. The French wanted us to pay tribute, and you know, they try to threaten us. That was that XYZ affair. No, that didn't go, because we said we're not going to pay one single penny for tribute, but we're going to pay millions of dollars. Oh, he's doing it again. Thank you, man. But we will pay millions of dollars for defense. So they should have got this, right? Now, we did pay at first, not much though, and we decided to change our mind. So there's a lot of European countries paying these Barbary pirates from these four areas. And then we just said, no, we're not going to pay any more tribute. That's not going to happen. And then we're going to send in some Marines here soon. Check it out. Burning your own ship so they can't use it against you. Look at this right here. Look at that.